Hello, my friends. A bit of a longer story today, so I hope you won't mind. This one's about how much we can learn from ourselves by being with other people, and how many warm, wonderful things lie inside us that we don't even know yet. And this story is called Raven and the Gophers. During a great fall festival, bird and beasts gathered around great bonfires to exchange news, settle feuds, and engage in competitive carousing until each activity was sufficiently satisfied. On one of these bright days, Raven challenged herself to sit patiently by a fire and accompany the sun on its journey from east to west. It watches over us every day, she thoughtfully considered. I'm sure it would appreciate being watched over too. And so sun and shadow sat in silent harmony together. As more of the day's light caught on Raven's feathers, more eyes noticed the change and turned their own eyes to the source of her contented smile. Unaccustomed yet unbothered by Raven's presence, an earnest gopher mother sat next to her and passively drew her attention with the beautiful ornaments of bone and turquoise decorating her fur. Corvids, like Raven, are religiously stylish creatures, and she was awed by Gopher's sense of fashion and gave her the grandest compliment to honor it. Graciously, the gopher removed one of her ornaments and handed it to Raven. It was a selfish gesture that rebuked Corvid greed and charmed Raven immensely. To treat me this kindly deserves kindness of its own, Raven silently reflected before returning the ornament. When claw and feather met in the exchange, Raven swore to aid Gopher in whatever she may require. However, instead of returning the ornament to her fur, Gopher nervously grasped and claws at the turquoise inlays. Raven observed this behavior and plotted her heroism. Her grief must be great for such material disregard. Maybe it's something I can help her with. Then through a series of small probing questions, they arrived at Gopher's troubles. I beg your pardon. My son hasn't arrived yet. He's supposed to have been here by now. Memories of her own desperate flights through storms and blizzards brought pity to Raven's proud heart, and she immediately pledged to return her son. Yet as she circled the area, small, unfamiliar thoughts crept through her focus. The warm, crowded feeling of nest filled with incubating children slowed her hasty steps and sent her eyes off trail and into a playground full of laughing children. Though the ground was still charred by a great fire, children of all creatures chased, caught, and released each other with rounds of honest laughter. Raven felt alienated from this world and let the comforting dream of her own children soothe her aching conscience. And in this moment, the strangest thing happened. Someone snuck up on Raven. "Excuse me, miss, have you seen my mother?" Came a small, smooth voice behind her. "Eek!" she cried with a great swoop of her feather skirt, and her mortification only increased when finding the source to be the missing gopher child. "Sorry for startling you." Raven accepted his humble apology with a rich, motherly smile. "Oh, that's all right, little one. What can I help you with?" "I'm looking for my mother. She's a gopher too, only a little taller than me." Raven tilted her head and compared the gopher son and his mother, noticing different shades and textures of fur, yet each possessing the same wide eyes of unexplainable depth. This boy was special, Raven quickly realized, and knew deep within her heart that her eyes would be watching him forever. She drew herself to full height and placed a protective wing around the boy before speaking in a frightfully smooth and gentle voice. "I know where your mother is. Are you ready to return to her?" "Not yet, Miss Raven. There's something I need to do first." Raven was astounded by this little creature's serenity and blessed his mother for fostering such growth. Together they traveled through grand tents and raucous fire pits, where all the while Gopher perused many sparkling treasures from worlds far beyond Raven's wanderings. Yet each time Gopher found something he realized it wasn't what he was looking for. His goals and motivations being unknown to Raven, she satisfied her motherly aches by bargaining with the vendors. "You don't have enough for that!" chided a child tradesman whose keen eyes beheld so many sparkling things they'd become sharp and cynical. The tradesman yanked an item out of the gopher's hand and viewed him and a raven alike with great mistrust. I said you don't have enough for that, his clawed hands now mercilessly guarding an array of precious stones Gopher was facing. Gopher sniffed at the reproach, and something powerful within Raven forced her into action. Surely even the least of these stones will satisfy you, she appealed. Yet still his eyes turned longingly to the large bright stone, surrounded by a series of seemingly dull identicals. And in his desire, a keenness similar to the tradesman perturbed Raven. Surely rocks are only good for throwing or dropping. Is there anything else that might be of greater use to you? Shyly he gestured to a small slingshot in a box set aside from the rest of the goods before returning back to the stones. Frustrated by his indecision, Raven spoke with uncharacteristic firmness. You do not have enough of what you want right now. You can either save what you have and wait for it, or purchase a lesser thing to satisfy you until then. On the way back to his mother, Gopher silently pawed at the slingshot, and Raven nervously wondered if she said the right things. After child and mother met and embraced, Raven sat apart for them, forcing herself to be satisfied with their reunion. Because of, or rather, in spite of this, Gopher Mother showered Raven with praise that burned her cheeks. May I sing for you? Gopher Mother asked. Raven was speechless. For a beast to sing for a bird is an honor like no other. Unprecedented, even. And now, swaying in the soft, pulsing rhythm of Gopher's voice, Raven enjoyed the unmitigated pleasure of a kindness so casually given being so reverently returned. I love this story. The events that preceded this story and ended up forming it really did awaken a certain motherliness inside me that I'm so grateful for. In a way, being a woman makes us weaker. It makes us more vulnerable to the sorrows of others. But in turn, it gives us the strength to overcome and shelter all of it. Thank you for listening, my friends. Stay warm tonight.